You're watching Cars.tv.
Hi, my name's Tyler Tadevic. I'm the owner of TruSpeed AutoSport, and I'm going to take you around this BMW M2 and share with you a little bit about what it is. Here at the Thermal Club, we've got a lot of drivers who are entry-level beginning drivers, and so this is really an entry-level beginning driving race car. This is the BMW M2 Club Sport. This is a 2021 car. It's a rear-wheel drive car, comes from the factory with about 365 horsepower. It's got a twin turbocharged V6 engine. Nice part about the turbocharged engine is that it allows us to add horsepower or subtract horsepower just by doing something called adding what's called a smart stick. So this is part street car and part race car. Looking down here in the cockpit, it comes with what looks like a USB stick, and there's a spot for this stick right back here. Now the car comes with 3 different sticks. There's a black one, a red one, and a silver one, each one of them in a different horsepower. So the car starts off at 365 horsepower, then we can go to 385, and then we go to 405, and then we can go all the way up to 450 horsepower just by pulling one USB stick out and putting another USB stick in. So it enables us to start the guys off at a lower level of horsepower and then work their way up as they become more comfortable. Now another thing that you'll never typically see in a race car is a passenger seat. We do include the passenger seat in these cars primarily because we want the driver coach who helps the driver be able to teach him. So once again, this is an entry-level car. It's a car that you're going to learn to drive in, and so we try to make that as easy as possible. Now some of the driver aids that we add in here, the drivers have air supply into their helmet. So we have a little ducts right off the air conditioning, comes right in. This car actually has regular air conditioning. And then as you can see, standard transmission in this car as well. So this is going to be the same kind of transmission that's in your street car. It does have a mode where we can go just to paddle shift, but you can drive this car around the racetrack in drive mode, so you don't even have to shift. Now, to drive this car fast, it actually requires quite a lot of skill. Because it's a very heavy car, it's got small tires and a very powerful engine, the best way to drive this car around the track is to have it slide a little bit, but not too much. So the trick is learning how to do that. If you can navigate this car quickly around the racetrack, you're then ready to take the next step up to another car. So that's what goes on inside the car. Now outside the car, there are a number of items that we do to make it easier for us to work on and make it faster to do pit stops and things. A set of tires on a car like this lasts approximately an hour and a half. So all of the cars come with an air jack system. So it's a pneumatic system. It literally lifts the car up like that. So it's got 4 air jacks all the way around all 4 corners of the car. So what that allows us to do then is take all 4 wheels off at once, make an adjustment to the car, put all 4 wheels back down, and then in the heat of the moment when we're really busy, we can change the driver, we can do a full load of fuel, and we can change all 4 tires in about 45 seconds. And then once he's done, off he goes. I am so thankful for Tim Rogers and for the Thermal Club and for the opportunity he provides not only me but everybody out here, right? I mean, this place is Disneyland. It is a unicorn. There's nothing like it in North America. There are other membership racetracks and there are other places out where you can do something similar, but the level of fit and finish and attention to detail and support and facilities and all of that, it's literally, there's nothing quite like it out there. So in order to be a member out here, you have to be attached to a piece of property in one form or another, right? So you have to own land. Well, by the time you buy a lot and you put a house on it and you put cars in it to use, I'm told the average spend is between $4 and $5 million bucks. Most of these people don't live at these homes, right? I mean, they stay here when they're here and then they go to their other home at their other place, many other homes, right? This is their 5th or 6th home. They don't find that a lot of advertising. They don't do a lot of regular, maybe in Rob Report or something like that, a little article in the back, but most of the selling and advertising is word of mouth. Most racetracks in North America are old. The facilities are pretty dilapidated. If they've been refurbed, they're still a refurbed, you know. The nicest place in America right now is Circuit of the Americas, the F1 track that they have down in Texas. And it even is, at this point, been around for 7 or 8 years. It's not quite the shiny object that it was when it started. So invariably in North America in racing, the tracks are old, the bumpy, the facilities are usually a little bit questionable, and so you set your car and your team up around accommodating that. This place, on the other hand, is the polar opposite of that. You know, we all have the track is pancake smooth perfect. It's got grade FIA 3 curbing everywhere. It's a perfect track. It's like a Paul Ricard type of track, or more like a European track. So it's definitely a country club track. You set your car up to run it here. If we end up going other places, we end up making some pretty serious changes to the car to accommodate the fact that it's a much bumpier track and a much different kind of facility than we have here. The thing about being in a place like this, I've mentioned it before, but shiny metal object syndrome, that's what these guys get, right? So they come out here and they're like, I mean, literally this is how it goes. The flight path to the local airport is right over the top of this facility. So my partner in this building, flying into Palm Springs one day, looks out the window, he's like, what is that? Gets off his airplane, hops on a cab, comes over here to the track, gets a tour of the facility. He's like, man, this is so cool. I want this. And so buys a lot, buy some cars, and that's literally how it happens. So most of the people out here are not racers per se, right? It's an intriguing thing and they've got the resources to do it, so they're doing it, but they really don't know what they're doing. In our industry, someone like that is ripe and they'll get taken in by a team and get wrung out dry with all the money that they can spend, and they'll get sent down the road. That's usually what happens in regular racing. Here at the club, they've bought a home, so they're not going anywhere. So that kind of approach is not how you do it, right? So we work really hard at, first of all, trying to determine what are they looking to accomplish, right? The first bad decision is to buy a lot out here and go racing. Like that's a poor choice. You're gonna waste your money. It's a bad choice. So if that's the bad choice, let's make that the only bad choice. Let's try and be smart about the rest of it. So first of all, let's determine an end game, right? What are we looking to accomplish? Are we just out here to lap around and have fun? Do you want to go race Daytona someday? Do you want to be a race? Like, what are we trying to accomplish here, right? Once we determine what we're trying to accomplish, then we kind of try and reverse engineer into that, how we're going to get there. So if you wanted to ultimately go do Daytona, we'd start off with getting a car that would get you up to speed. We'd start some lower level racing. We'd graduate to some endurance racing, and ultimately after a year and a half or two, you'd have the skill set and the experience level to be able to go run at Daytona. A lot of my guys here never want to do anything other than show up here once every 6 months for 2 or 3 weeks and drive the shit out of the cars they have a great time, and then they're done, they're out.